I used to believe that if you worked hard, stayed honest, and minded your own business, life would eventually reward you. That belief cost me everything. My name is Ethan Cole, and for 7 years I worked at Harrington and Blythe Consulting, one of those glass-building companies where everyone smiles in meetings and stabs each other quietly through emails. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't loud. I didn't play office politics. I was just reliable. I stayed late, fixed other people's mistakes, trained new hires who later got promoted above me, and I trusted the wrong people. The setup. Two people mattered most in my professional life. Mark Reynolds, my team lead, charismatic, confident, and completely empty inside. And Claire Bennett, my coworker, smart, ambitious, and someone I once thought was my closest friend. We lunched together, shared frustrations, even joked about quitting one day and starting something better. I told them things I never told anyone else. That was my first mistake. The project that changed everything. The project was called Atlas, a high-profile contract that could make or break careers. If it succeeded, promotions were guaranteed. I designed the framework. I built the strategy. I wrote the risk analysis. Mark presented it. Claire polished the slides. At first, I didn't care. That's how teams work, right? But slowly, things shifted. Emails stopped including me. Meetings happened accidentally without me. Decisions were made in rooms I wasn't invited into. Then came the whispers. The lies began. One morning, HR emailed me, "Please come by at 2 p.m. regarding a workplace concern." No explanation. Inside the room sat HR, Mark, and Claire. They didn't look surprised to see me. They looked prepared. HR spoke first. "Ethan, concerns have been raised about your behavior." Behavior? Apparently, I was difficult, defensive, uncooperative. Then came the real punch. They accused me of taking credit, withholding information, and worst of all, creating a hostile environment. I laughed, actually laughed. That made it worse. Claire wouldn't look at me. Mark sighed like I had disappointed him. That's when I realized something important. This wasn't confusion. This was a setup. The fall. Within 2 weeks, I was removed from the Atlas project. My access was restricted. My performance review was re-evaluated. Then HR handed me the letter. Termination. No warning, no appeal, no severance beyond the bare minimum. 7 years. Gone. The real damage. Losing the job hurt. But what came after almost destroyed me. Mark and Claire didn't just take my position, they took my reputation. LinkedIn posts appeared praising their leadership. Industry contacts stopped replying to me. A recruiter quietly told me, "We've heard concerning things." Concerning things I never did. I couldn't sleep. I replayed every conversation in my head, wondered how I was so stupid. That's when I made my second mistake. I wanted revenge immediately. Why most revenge fails. I almost sent angry emails, almost posted the truth online, almost exposed everything publicly. But here's the brutal truth. Emotional revenge only helps your enemies. So I stopped, and I started thinking. The shift. I took a contract job, lower pay, zero prestige, but it gave me something valuable. Time. Time to observe. Time to listen. Time to connect dots. I reached out, not to complain, but to ask questions. Former coworkers, clients, even vendors. And slowly, patterns emerged. The cracks in their perfect image. Mark had a habit of cutting corners. Claire had a habit of borrowing ideas and never returning credit. The Atlas project? It wasn't as successful as they claimed. Numbers were inflated, risks buried, reports altered. Not enough to scream fraud, but enough to matter. I documented everything, quietly. The long game. 6 months passed. Mark got promoted. Claire became a rising star. Everyone forgot my name. Exactly what I needed. I joined a small startup as a consultant. Different industry, same clients. Funny how small the corporate world really is. One of those clients? A company Harrington and Blythe desperately wanted to impress. The opportunity. The client asked me casually, "Didn't you used to work with Mark Reynolds?" I answered calmly, "Yes." They leaned back. Interesting guy. Something about his numbers never sat right with us. I said nothing. I didn't accuse. I didn't explain. I simply offered, "If you ever want a second opinion, I'm available." That's how professionals destroy themselves. They invite scrutiny. The first domino. The client requested an audit, not from me, from an independent firm. Mark panicked. Emails were rewritten, files renamed, blame quietly shifted. Guess whose name started appearing in internal discussions? Claire's. Betrayal always eats itself. Claire tried to save herself. She leaked documents, carefully selected to protect her image. But she underestimated one thing. I still had timestamps, original drafts, version histories. She had used my old frameworks, the ones she accused me of stealing. The irony was beautiful. The collapse. The audit findings weren't catastrophic. They were worse. They were quietly damning. Contracts weren't renewed. Leadership restructured. Bonuses disappeared. Mark resigned. Claire was let go. No public scandal, no dramatic courtroom moment, just professional death. The kind that follows you forever. The final message. Claire emailed me after a year of silence. "I didn't know how far things would go. I hope you're doing well." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I replied with one sentence. "I am. I learned who to trust." I never heard from her again. The real revenge. Here's the part most people don't expect. I didn't feel joy. I felt peace. Because revenge isn't about destroying others. It's about reclaiming what they took from you. Your voice, your power, your future. I didn't expose them. I outgrew them.